was a dark and stormy night that Halloween. No children were around asking for candies that night, and Tia was hesitant in turning the page to the next chapter, dreading what was to come. The NeverEnding Story 3, Escape from Fantasia, or in other places, Return to Fantasia, because apparently someone was very confused. Made in 1994, this time from not a particularly well-known director. This guy has done, I think, Rambo 3. How random, I guess. Still, Bastion Batlhazar Bucks at Say Fantasia again, wishing for a spray can among other things. So where will this journey lead him now? The most 90s made-for-TV movie you can imagine. This had a theatrical release in, I think, at least America, but not throughout the entire world. In a lot of other places was direct to DVD. And it kind of shows because the quality is about to dip big time.
Oh, boy.
But you can see the movie for yourself, starting before the Cinevox logo. So be ready in 3, 2, 1, click.
Let me give
I
you...
saw this movie once after I learned about its existence via review, and that was kind of it. I actually didn't caught it on TV.
Let
Yes,
me
Jova?
give you a metric for how bad this movie is. I am generally usually the most positive member of the group. As you recall, I actually even defended NeverEnding Story 2 as a fine film that I was fine with existing. For comparison's sake, Pixie noped out of commentating on this movie. You will not hear me defending this movie one iota. At best, I might say nice things about it, and trust me, that is mostly ironic enjoyment. It is regarded
those
as...
nice things will be said through gritted teeth.
It is one of the most hated sequels or remakes in media history. I ain't even joshing you there. And, oh dear lord, the production values on a budget...
Sorry, go on, Jordan. Sorry.
Budget $25 million. Yes, the music is done by Peter Wolf here.
Music via big quotation, please, because we're switching to synths this time around, and not the good kind.
Okay, now, believe it or not, Peter MacDonald is an English director. And guess what? He's actually a prolific second-unit director. He's worked on some pretty big blockbusters, some of which you may have heard of, like Guardians of the Galaxy, The Bourne Ultimatum, Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, The Empire Strikes Back, Batman 1989, Cry Freedom, and also X-Men Origins Wolverine.
But there's not really that much in terms of interesting development history about this movie. Only that the director was not allowed to cut the film himself because the editing decisions were made solely by the producers.
Apparently there was a whole other script draft which has one very interesting tidbit, but as far as I can tell, despite how horrendous this movie is, I don't think it was a hell to make.
Yeah, that's our villain of a movie, the Nasty.
That's the best thing you can say about this movie. It wasn't hell to make.
What's Berlin doing here?
Okay.
Yeah, this figure of a seer or something.
Are we in the Fortress of Solitude?
Yeah,
he actually just looks like Dumbledore had like a rough few nights or something.
Predicted calmly. And punchline. Yep, that's Bastion, this time played by the guy from Free Willy.
Yes, Jason James Richer.
Complete with horrible gel haircut. God. Yeah, let's start
and yes, that's Jack Black. Let's get that out of the way right now.
Jack Black is a school bully.
And this was his first. I think this was his first movie role ever.
Okay, I forgot which year was. I still know what he did last summer, but it was close enough to this.
Question.
Yeah.
Since the Okay, since the second movie was based on also part of the book, is this one like its own thing?
Yes, the good news is that if you're a fan of a book, you can completely stop caring because this adapts nothing from the
Oh.
book.
Maybe that's why Pixie noped out.
Okay. You know what would have been funny is if they legit just couldn't recognize each other, but yes,
Yeah,
this
because
is the librarian.
the librarian got recast too, horribly. Again, none of the characters look even remotely like they were previously. You didn't even bother to make some potential wigs or something to gain some kind of continuity or an evolution of appearance. No, they just did not care.
Okay, with NeverEnding Story 2, I did debate that you could argue that the characters, for the most part, at worst could be considered aged up. Not the case with this movie. Like, unless there's a story reason that the librarian can also shapeshift, and even if there is, it's not actually given in this movie.
It would be clever, but I get the idea it's too much for this movie.
Well, that's the thing, though. The librarian actually didn't recognize Bastion at first. Honestly, I think it would have been a cute little joke if they hadn't done either.
Coincidental, because Bastion has kinda, moved on to this new town in school, and coincidentally the librarian is the school librarian.
Guess he moved here when he vanished into thin air in the second movie.
They're just stalking this kid.
That wouldn't surprise me.
Well, to be fair, Dwebs, this guy has been creepy with Bastion since movie 1. So
Okay,
to be fair, Pedro, is it more creepy this guy or the Christopher Lloyd in Page Master?
Okay. To be fair,
Christopher Lloyd still.
oh god, the Nasties, Jesus. Okay, now to be fair to the first two films, it was always implied that Bastion was meant to get the book in those ones. Like, well, that the librarian, like, well, teach him a lesson and also help Fantasia in a time of crisis. Not the case in this movie, on the other hand, because, trust me, what happens here was not part of the plan.
Okay.
Also,
I have to mention... Sorry.
Bastion's father, in the meantime, remarried with, I think, another widow because she has a daughter of her own. And yeah, Bastion's father also looks nothing like the previous two designs.
Also, I have to mention real quick, no band of bullies will call themselves the Nasties. If that would happen, they would be the ones getting bullied because that name is just laughable and dog.
Granted, is it any more silly than the Greasers? And yeah, that was actually a real thing back in the day. The old days, but...
What this new family brings is a stepmother for Bastion, which has virtually no personality whatsoever. I'm sorry, but I'm sure the actress had other roles, in which she could shine properly, but for this movie, she kind of sucks. And a stepsister, which Bastion will have to, have a friendship about, with, but the quality of which you will have to judge, because it really doesn't feel like they're growing as, as step siblings.
There's a particular thing that annoys me, but I'll have to wait till we actually see it.
Okay,
My god, yeah, there's another thing. The tone. Compared to the previous two movies, the tone is immensely fucked up.
Yeah.
There's a lot more emphasis on the comedy, and it feels like I'm watching a fucking Goosebumps episode.
I also have to say, the actor... Gone.
Comparing this to the first two movies, like, even with NeverEnding Story 2, you got the semblance that it was still meant more seriously. This one... Holy cow, this one feels more like a comedy with maybe some serious bits, and yet,
Crystals are so stupid.
He never said they could grant a wish. You're just coming off as pretentious.
That actually leads into my problem with this character, actually.
But now he's about to come off as creepy.
Bastion is doing the exact same thing that Spider-Man does in Spider-Man Lotus, and basically trauma dump to her the entire shtick about Fantasia out of nowhere.
Bitch, please.
Okay, so I guess to be fair, you do have to see NeverEnding Story 2 to get the deal about the Auron and the granting of wishes, so I guess this movie...
But that kind of happened slightly in the first movie, too.
Did it really, though? Like, I just recall...
Oh my god.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, while I could maybe buy that the dad in NeverEnding Story 2 just looked aged up, no, this dad just looks completely different. Oh, by the way, the girl...
I want to talk about this bit.
I don't believe in this new age crap, but I do play acoustic guitar to try and make the story have meaning.
Yeah, she's one of those. Go on.
See how easy it is to subtitle your singing?
Well, maybe that's because
Shiroi-
this isn't a
Shiroi-
licensed song.
Also,
Shiroi-
she has a ice cream pajama for some reason.
Shiri, what you just said is ironic. My copy has no subtitles at all.
Yes,
Anyway,
Oh.
she I love how all she does is just spin around playing acoustic guitar with pretentious lyrics because
Very pretentious.
because she's one of those people who thinks, oh, if I do this, that means I'm deep. Also, I have to say, the actor they got to play Bastion in this movie, horribly miscast. No, that does not look in any way like a grown-up version of the actor from the first movie.
Not just that, even
kind of squint regarding the actor from the second movie, kind of. This guy, no, completely unbelievable casting.
Even his
right
personality is all wrong. Even in the second movie, sure, we argued that Bastion, inconsistency in... Oh my god. Inconsistency, in brain farting was a detriment to the movie, but you can still make it slightly similar. Jesus Christ.
Alright, let me see who's playing Mr.
My point simply being, this Bastion, even in personality-wise, could be a completely new, different character with a stumble into
my
the
God.
NeverEnding Storybook.
That's Kevin McNulty as the father.
Why have I heard him already?
Let's see, he was in Shoot to Kill the first season, Ernest Goes to
Fantastic
School.
Four, as well as
Was he
sequel.
Fantastic Four?
Yep,
Yes,
he
I
was
like
in
those
2005 Fantastic Four. Good lord.
Okay, what character was he?
Let me see.
Jimmy O'Houlihan.
Maybe a journalist, I don't know.
Let me check. Let's see.
He was also in Snakes on
Oh.
the Plane.
Jimmy O'Houlihan is the doorman of the Baxter Building.
Oh, yeah, that's why I never recognized
Oh my
him.
god! Like, hey, asshole! The 80s died. Get over it.
Okay,
That's the problem, Pedro. That
This
kind
is
of gel,
1994, the year when the 80s properly
those
died.
kind of gel tips actually did came back, in full force at the end of the 90s, early 2000s. I know it because I had them.
Basically, Bastion put Jonas. Here to try and get it in position with cool and all, but
It was cool.
as you can tell, he is not exactly the master of gel
Look
stuff.
at that. Okay. See, at least the
Okay.
The
The point is actually that that's not a proper hairdo. He messed it up. So, no, that's not a style that they're going for of the times. He legit
even
messed
so,
it up.
though, even so, what kind of teenager looks at this in the mirror and thinks, "Yep, this looks good"?
Oh, I don't know. Are obvious
Robert,
30-year-olds
this
for
guy
real?
stinks.
Also, okay. See, I like the hairdo of the shithead brother in Not Another Teen Movie because there was actually a logic to how that hairdo. This is just air randomly on end.
Well, again, he is clearly not an expert of using gel, so
Yeah.
he
Hold on.
legit messed...
Hey,
Oh.
Apparently, the Nasties are so, nasty that just their mere presence of arriving sends the entire school away in a stampede.
Again, what kind of bullies call themselves the Nasties?
Apparently, someone led by Jacob Black.
Oh,
Also, what school bullies go to a school where they look 25?
A school with American actors.
Okay.
Yeah.
To be fair, they actually do explain why these doofuses are so old later on, but yeah,
Held
no.
back, I'm guessing.
Yes.
Probably, if I recall correctly.
I don't think that's a thing here.
I love it. This is one shot where the more I look at it, the more things wrong I find.
Yeah, and Jack Black is by far the best thing about this
Holy
movie.
cow.
Because,
Why did the
Wow.
even in this movie where he's still very inexperienced and shit, he's still by far the best actor in this movie.
Yeah, like...
Okay, this was not his first... Wait,
Well, one of his
Okay.
first, basically.
fourth specifically. I forgot. He was in Demolition Man before this.
Was he?
As a wasteland scrap, an extra, basically.
Okay.
Oh yeah, like your name's any better.
We're bullies, and that means we know nothing about literature.
Also-
Where are the teachers?
Apparently, it was a pilot in a deleted scene in Waterworld. What am I
Remember-
finding?
Remember, Shira, this is the same school that in the previous movie allowed this teacher to basically bully the students. So
Actually, to give this movie credit, the bullies actually are about to get what's coming to them
From
relatively
the
soon.
janitor of all people.
I mean, in a lot of depictions of American schools, the janitor is usually like the bro, for lack of a better.
Especially because we go for the extra stereotype Shira making of African ethnicity. Surprised they didn't do that here.
I am genuinely having trouble discerning what the tallest of the bullies' gender is. Not
That's
that
a
I care
girl.
what is it? It doesn't matter
Pedro,
either way. I'm just trying to figure it out because it's difficult.
It's a
Pedro,
girl there.
It clearly showcased that you really don't want a goth girlfriend, and that's a crying shame.
Yeah, I
So
agree.
it's
That's a
why do
shame.
you want a girlfriend?
If you like golf girlfriends, good for you. But I'm not into that.
Shows your taste.
Okay, but yeah, no.
Jesus Christ.
I guess if I have to give this movie one credit, yeah, no, the bullies get in trouble and they actually get expelled for it.
And that's actually one of their few weak points, because for the most part of the movie, they act almost completely unscathed. It's only for a few scenes that they actually find something that they manage to, that manages to make them step back. Like, barely, aside from those few moments, barely anyone at school actually cares about them. I'm kind of reminded once again of Stephen King, because in the It miniseries was something like that too.
Oh yeah, by the
And
way,
that's how we got here.
he was literally reading up to all that.
So your favorite job, we did started in medias res.
Well, yeah, I guess so. Boo!
What's with this music? Oh, fuck me.
The library is a safety barrier for bullies.
But yeah, no, I guess I do have
What
to.
is this music? Dweebs, are you coping with this synth?
Did they have no music budget in this movie?
They couldn't
Whoa,
even
whoa,
Boing.
Jesus Christ! What the hell was
they
that?
couldn't
edit?
even recycle
Okay,
music from the first movie.
Let me put into context how cheap this sounds. When Masked Rider, a Saban-made rip-off of Power Rangers that debuted a year before, when that could get an orchestra music in it, you got issues.
Alright, from the first movie, we actually find back Angie Walk, if you forgot the scientist was studying on the Oracle, and his wife. And also we got a new character attached to them. One that is probably one of the weakest links of the entire movie.
Is this the same actor from the first
No.
movie?
No, they actually got right most of his appearance, so his voice is a bit too high-pitched.
Okay.
That said, though. Oops. Okay, I know that they were small. I don't recall them being this small, though, in the first movie.
No, in the first movie, they were the same, size of Atreyu.
Oh, by the way,
And that's Trent and his entire shtick, pop culture references.
although, get this. The bark wood there, he is voiced by William Hootkins.
Remember, this is a post-Aladdin family film, so they're trying to fulfill their genie quota.
William Hootkins, Joe, remind me who he played.
He is legit one of the Lucasfilm greats. Basically, you remember, he's Eckhart in Batman 1989, and he's Porkins from Star Wars. He also played Dingodile in Crash Bandicoot 3.
Oh yeah, but I think he was also one of those nuclear arms salesmen in Superman 4.
Mm-hmm.
Basically,
Okay, I guess if I can give something not totally negative, the set, that particular first fantasy set there, that doesn't look too bad. That looks fine.
oh, by the way, William Hootkins was apparently also in The Island of Dr. Moreau, which would come out 2 years later.
So did he participate in the orgies?
Maybe.
I will never understand why movies of this time period portray bullies in this like super obsessive manner. Like bullies are usually lazy, and when they have to move too much to get to their villain, they usually just give up.
Oh, well,
Well,
you'd be surprised. Over here, at least, some
in
boys...
this case, they go the extra mile because it seems that Jack Black, the leader of Nasty, is particularly smart bully. Not only is capable to read, which is surprisingly, considering everything, but he manages to seem to pretty fastly figure out what's going on.
I will say this. Part of Jack Black's charm in this movie is actually how much he plays up Slip, that's his character's name, Slip's obsession with revenge against Bastion for getting them expelled.
Listen to his reaction to figuring out what's going on.
Okay. You know...
Did Jack just had a revelation? God, I'm not paying enough for this shit.
Here's what happened too. Jack Black realized this movie was garbage, so he decided he was going to go all out. And no, they themselves don't care. They probably won't stop me, and clearly they did not.
I love that the other bully believes it's a satanic book. Go on, Jova.
I gotta give him credit, though. He does take the role seriously. I mean, let's be honest, this is not a movie that demands anyone's A-game, but by God, he took it seriously, and I guess to be fair, this was still theatrically released. Like, here's my shtick. When a sequel feels so down budget that it feels like it's not even connected properly, that is one of my biggest pet peeves of a sequel. Like, at least NeverEnding Story 2, I could buy that was in the same world. With this movie, okay, while they did get this gnome guy looking well, trust me, just about everything and everyone else looks so down in quality that I don't buy that this is the same role from the first movie. Although, funnily enough, and I'm not even joking, going off of the story of this, we actually have the biggest stakes to deal with in this movie, because, get this, unlike The Nothing, which, while it could affect some stuff from the outside, mainly could only destroy, the inside world of Fantasia, the Nasty will actually threaten the apocalypse of both worlds. So there you go.
They actually have reins of the entire story now. Jesus.
How sad is it that the biggest threat to Fantasia happens to be Jack Black as a bull?
What is this music again?
Now, okay. I know what some might be thinking. Wait, Jack Black in a fantasy movie? That can't work at all. Well, believe it or not, Jack Black being involved in fantasy stuff does have some precedent, and nowadays could be seen as it. Like, he was in Brutal Legend, and I guess if you...
Panda.
Yeah, and I guess if you count the Mario Brothers movie, the more recent one...
That's an
Jumanji 2 and
isekai.
3.
Look, guys, I'm doing pop culture references. That means
like I said, Trent Barkey, whatever he's called, he's so annoying in this movie because all of his lines amount to referencing something.
Although...
Okay, now they're just spotting Yini Macaroni. Like, what does that have to do with what's going?
That was something
Angie
she was cooking.
Angie Walk's wife's kitchen got destroyed.
Yeah, I remember she was cooking that.
Is that what the author of the book said when he saw this movie? My life's work ruined.
Let me check if Michael Land, how old he was around this time. Oh God, he died in 1995, 1 year after this. Fuck.
Okay. So here's one problem that I have here. While, yes, them having the book is causing stuff, we never actually see what they're absolutely doing that is causing this chaos in the NeverEnding Story. Like, it's just, they have the book
giving
and...
physical arm to it? Are they spewing command words to dictate how the story goes?
Oh, no.
Here we go. Here's another piece of fuckery. Let's see what they did to Falcor.
Again,
Right.
they got it. Again,
For starters, his voice. He sounds more derpy in this version.
He sounds more like Patrick Starr.
Oh my god.
Oh, by the way, William Hookins also voices Falcor for this.
Falcor, what did they do to
Well,
you?
shut up! What you don't know what Vegas is?
Again,
No, you are not Falcor. I don't know who you are, but you are not Falcor.
What the hell happened to the Jim Henson Creature Shop?
yes, Dwebs
wait.
is right. Believe it or not, all these animatronics, these were brought by Jim Henson's Creature Shop.
Did they give them the budget of a fucking ham sandwich?
Probably.
Well, actually, okay, to their credit, the budget for this was $25 million. Again, a step down from the previous movies, but still, not a sum to scoff at.
By the way, that's a running gag, that rabbit getting squished by things.
Oh, God. Not only... So, not
I'm
only...
genuinely wondering... Go on.
Okay, why? And fuck off.
About what,
Exactly.
Shiroy?
Yes.
Yeah, you're gonna have to be more specific, Shiroy.
Yes.
Okay.
Although, to genuinely answer the question, repeated gag of a rabbit getting squished.
But
And
yeah,
I have to say that very quietly.
so yeah, that's Falcor. Not only are these, let's call them effects, god-awful looking, the character is completely backwards too. Falcor is now a blithering flying idiot. I mean, and heck, his voice doesn't even sound majestic or wise. He sounds, like I said, more like Patrick Starr. Which, if I recall correctly, this was before Patrick Starr even existed, so God help me if they took inspiration from this for Patrick Starr. Oh, and by the way, if you're expecting a Atreyu to be in this movie, I have bad news. He's not in this one. He was supposed to be in it, going off of the original script draft, but for some reason was not included in this one. Ahem. But how?
Oh,
Again, how does this work?
It just works.
Sorry, remind me, what was I talking about prior?
I don't know.
I don't
But
know,
yeah, as we see from
I
here,
actually love this movie.
but yes,
Oh god, oh my god.
but yeah, as I warned beforehand, no, this was clearly not the plan since the
Oh,
librarian
here we
is actually
go.
surprised.
Time to
No.
bust out the big guns.
Oh, I know what's coming. I know. It's just that even if I'm prepared, you're never prepared for this.
Guess what, everyone? They turn. You know, in the previous movie, at least the Brock Rider had a child and he was there. Now they turn his entire life into a sitcom, complete with television.
Yep, there is
What
TV in
the
Fantasia.
fuck?
Well, okay. This is not Jim Henson's dinosaur, okay?
Well, hey, we got Jim Henson, so why not do dinosaurs?
And the
So
Rock
maybe it
Rider-
is. Maybe
and
you're
the
wrong.
Rock Rider looks nothing like in the previous
No.
movies. Nothing at all.
No.
Well, that's the thing,
You are
Joe.
not the Rock
Henson.
Rider.
Well, that's the thing, Joe. Henson had been sadly dead for 4 years at this point.
Well, even with him being dead, no, the Jim Henson Creature Shop had a seal of quality that they would give even after Jim Henson died. Like, again,
Yeah.
to put it into
Are we
perspective,
sure?
Dwebs, that would be like expecting the quality of Disney movies to all have gone down the crapper when
But trust
Disney
me,
died.
the worst is just about to arrive. Yeah, what we've seen so far is not yet the lowest it can get.
This looks like either one of those very cursed kids shows you thought was a fever dream,
Yeah.
or just a just a TV show sequel.
Sure,
Like,
this to me looks more like a Mockbusters knockoff of the NeverEnding Story.
I know, right?
What the
And-
fuck is this?
And now,
Oh, here
as
we
the Rock Rider
go.
prepares his bike, we get a fucking rendition of Born to Be Wild. Because that's what they think when they think of NeverEnding Story, right?
Like, I
Born to be
guess...
wild with an instrumentation when it makes it sound like Stop the Rock.
Like, I
Its
guess...
use in Recess was better than this.
I guess to give him credit, it's a good rendition, he can sing well. That being said, what the hell is this doing in my NeverEnding Story?
What the fuck?
You see, this is why I remember barely anything from when I watched this movie in the theater, because my brain probably repressed all this shit.
To protect you, probably.
Exactly.
Like, okay, but like I was saying earlier, here's my big pet peeve with a movie like this. Is like, I'm sorry, they got everything wrong about the characters, their mentality, their moods, their looks. Everything is wrong. And
I'm sorry.
all right. If you were hoping Atreyu would be in this, bad news, he's not in this one. He was originally supposed to be in it, going off of the original script draft, but for whatever reason, they couldn't get him in, for better or for worse.
Well, Joba, look at the bright side. At least the trail was not ruined. So
God, you know when I think about it, you know the ironic thing is that we arguably got to see Atreyu act more as a warrior in the second movie than in the first one. Like, he has more focus in the first movie, but ironically didn't get to be that much of a warrior.
Well, okay, if I'm going to give them some credit, at least this actress is a more believable child empress.
Megamind? What's Megamind doing here?
Forget about Megamind. What is Dr. Neocortex doing with her?
Oh God, he does look...
For reference, this was the actress's first role period.
Yeah, well, like I said, at the very least, she actually looks the
part wait a minute.
The actress from the first,
wait a minute.
Movie.
This girl, isn't she the princess from the Dungeons and Dragons movie?
No.
That was from the first movie.
By Julie Cox.
Oh,
I wish we were watching Megamind right now.
She looks a lot like the princess from the Dungeons and Dragons movie.
She has done TV and movie stuff until the end of the 2010s, and I don't recognize anything.
Is that the one that birthed that whole "There is no Queen of England" meme?
Yes.
Yes.
You can imagine the resurfacing of that meme. Recent enough.
It's one of those things where it's just like, okay, I have to, when it comes to the Rockbiter, like, again, this is the Jim Henson Company. What the hell? Was this the best puppet you could make?
Oh, by the way, remember how the second movie suggested that Bastion didn't really need the Auron to make wishes? Yeah, no, screw that, because the childlike Empress herself is going to wish him back with the Auron. Oh, and by the way, you know how, some people may have asked for the Auron to be nerfed? Well, guess what, audience? You will get your wish in the worst way possible with this movie. I just love it. Like, I can just imagine the nothing and the emptiness all looking at the fact that they have been usurped as threats by frickin' Jack Black and
also,
questioning where they went wrong.
Also, is it just me or some of their lines are ADR'd?
Possibly. Well, okay, granted, given that the actors for some of the puppet costumes were definitely different from that of the voice actors, yeah, I could see it being ADR'd in.
Yeah, they also changed the Auron's name. Instead, you see Auron for some reason.
Hey, weren't you supposed to have more subjects, Your Highness, or something? Like, usually when we meet, there's more.
To be fair, Falcor did explain that
they're on break.
The royal capital is in turmoil at the moment.
These are the only people we could afford.
Every time they say the nasty, I just keep thinking the Raven saying you're nasty.
What?
Okay, so the gnome knows Arnold Schwarzenegger. Okay.
And for those who are saying, well, the Nasties are in control of the story, so they are inserting pop culture referencing. No, because Barky was doing that before that happened.
Okay. If these movies were running off the general idea that, the story is tied to Bastion's mind, then I just ask, why was there not TV as early as the second movie? So yeah, it's simple. Wish him back, wish him out so he can make wishes in the real world, wish the book back, and that should be easily fixed. Like, no, I'm not even kidding. It is legit that simple. Oh, so they got...
Whoa!
Yes, he's doing it, but it doesn't work. Oh my God.
You're not trying hard enough.
You're not trying hard enough.
Cry hard enough so that your dad can come back to life. I'm sorry, yeah.
And coincidentally, that's where the Rock Fighter and his child have arrived.
Oh,
So,
okay.
why don't Jack... Could Jack Black just, like, wish for, have the story be that, and... But suddenly, this... What's his name? Bastion?
yes, Bastion.
Suddenly, Bastion Bastion suddenly died, and Jack Black ruled the world forever. The end.
Okay, it's abundantly clear that okay, we know thanks to this wiki page that the editing was done by the producers, not the actual director. So it's abundantly clear that the producers of this movie want to give the audience an epileptic seizure. Like, seriously, what the fuck is this?
I forgot about this. I guess it's an impressive effect.
Did he become Rayman or something? What the fuck is...
Still missing a body of some
Stop doing that!
Stop doing that!
Okay, are you ready for quite possibly one of the dumbest explanations?
I think Valkyrie's also have a seizure in there.
Are they trying to give the audience seizures?
Yes, they are, clearly.
Help me!
Maybe
Sorry,
this...
Shira, I missed this leave, please.
Maybe this is part of why the movie bombed. So many people came out unconscious that people knew to stay away.
See,
Close your eyes.
No, it's over now.
Tio did give me a warning for the scenes where it happens for way too long, but yeah, this movie is making it its whole shtick, and I hate it.
Wait, guys, listen.
Oh, this bit.
Why?
Why not?
And?
Wait.
Okay.
Like in the first movie.
Wait.
Elaborate.
What do you mean, Bastion? Are you going to explain why I can't do that?
Oh, I'm sorry.
No.
I'm sorry. Are you expecting her to say anything more than no, Bastion? Well, guess what? Guess what?
It's like the writers literally realized that there's a very easy way out of this, and they couldn't come up with a reason why he can't do it, so they just have her say no and just hope people will go along with it.
No, wait, it gets better. See, in the original draft, there actually was a reason for it. The reason would have been that the Orin is incapable of teleporting multiple beings somewhere while in separate locations. Now, that being said, that wouldn't explain why Bastion couldn't just wish them separately. I mean, it's still better than no Bastion, but seriously, originally the explanation was going to be something that would have opened up a massive ton of plot holes.
I get the feeling they realized that explanation was stupid, so they thought, you know what, it doesn't matter, we don't have a good explanation, so let's not even bother giving one.
Of course, we'll use the book in a court of law. But no, seriously, the best explanation they can give is...
yeah, all the creatures that were in Bastion have been teleported in different locations of the real world.
Okay, wait, hold on. This is actually not something you need to see the second movie for. However, if you have seen the first movie, you'll recall that Bastion did bring...
Shut up!
Anyway... So, continuity flub here. You'll recall that at the end of the first movie, Bastion actually did bring Falcor to the real world to chase after the bullies. I mean, as a kid, I thought that was just in his imagination, but nope, that apparently actually did happen. So, by the way, that tree is flirting with the other trees.
Sure.
How nice.
Also, yeah, that's what I want to see in a NeverEnding Story movie. Instead of, a person of the real world having to explore the world of Fantasia and see what it's like, have the creature of Fantasia go into the real world and realize how wacky and different it is.
Well, Teal, the movie is called Escape from Fantasia.
That's the thing, Joe. Alternatively, it's also called Return to Fantasia.
Which I guess
Can't
they
even
are
get their
trying.
premise straight.
Well, I guess to be fair, they are trying to return to Fantasia, so I guess.
Get it is on Mount Rushmore. Laugh.
Laugh. It's
Okay. But yeah, no. Look, I have a threshold for movies, but when your plot's reasoning for why the more simple answer can happen is no, because I say no, congrats! You're on the mentality of a 2-year-old.
What's with this music?
Okay, imagine if other movies did that. Like imagine if Star Wars did that. Set your course for Alderaan to destroy with the Death Star. No. Why?
just because
No. No. Yeah. Okay then. Okay, we'll destroy Dagobah instead. No one lives there.
What the fuck is this music? Oh no, the Rockbiter Jr. is about to die.
Good.
He just flops there.
Alas.
Shut
not
up.
last.
So let me just
Shut up.
do a recap. We have an idiot plot starring idiots galore that doesn't finish properly because of an idiot's explanation, just so that these idiots can be stupid for the whole course of everything for idiocy's sake. Like, no. Keep in mind, Bastion legit has the winning piece, the Auron. And again, the way that they nerf Auron is
The
just
movie should be over.
okay. You know
Not
what's
just-
what's sad? Maybe in a video game, I could maybe buy this because video games got a video game, especially back in the 90s. But I'm sorry, in a movie, you do not get away with that stuff nearly as much.
I also have to talk about how this girl is watching what is supposedly a band that she likes, and she has all the emotion in her face of a fucking robot. Like, seriously, this character is constantly acting like she's too cool for everything.
Oh, and by the way, Bastion, you think he's gonna do something to try and find the characters, right? Nope! Just sits at home looking through that telescope. Yeah, I'm sure you'll find them on Jupiter or something, bud. Now,
Never ending Odyssey.
Now, you know what? This would be a good scene for the son and father to reflect on the fact that the dad knows that the NeverEnding Story is a real deal and that if Bastion did steal it, he would have a good reason to. Right?
Oh, wait, movie. You're going to try to have a quote-unquote heartfelt moment now?
They try, but, this movie seems to have forgotten that the dad knows that the NeverEnding Story is real.
Yeah. This is what I mean when I say that at least 90% of a second movie doesn't matter, because it literally doesn't.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
if that's their way
What is
of
Bastion wearing?
You know-
Bastion. Yes, it does.
if that's their way of trying to throw shade at the second movie, I'll just say the same thing I said to American Tail 3. Yeah, you want to throw shade? Actually try to be better than what you're making fun of.
And you know what's the worst part? Because I noticed that just now. They seem to have still watched the first movie or know this was in some kind of capacity because they kept the continuity idea of Bastion having Native American poster with Native Americans in his room, like in the first movie. Fuck me.
Oh, God.
I tried to
Seriously.
talk about that scene we just saw, but I'll let this.
Seriously, what is Bastion wearing? It's like he's about to embark on a swashbuckling adventure.
Okay, girly, do you have anything better to do than to just, low-key bully me?
Yeah, I'm sorry, but, writers who think that, the stuck-up characters who are stuck up because mother or father left or died, I'm not saying that can't be done well, but This girl has done nothing but be pretentious. It's just, oh, spare me your new age crap. Literally cuts to her playing acoustic guitar like that ain't new age crap.
Like I said, Jova, this kind of behavior from even siblings that that's something that happened in the Goosebumps, books and episodes of the series.
Are me and my brother the only siblings that ever got along just fine with no issues? Because
I'm not gonna say anything.
Why can't we ever have siblings who just get along in these movies?
Hey, I mean, the siblings in Zafura got along eventually.
Yeah, eventually.
Well, it took a while, and also to answer Pedro's question, because people think that's boring.
Okay. To be fair, in the original Jumanji, the two kids were on good terms with each other from the get-go. I love this. The bullies have a secret hideout. In
a parking lot.
Okay, I'll say this. I appreciate the lengths they go with these bullies.
They're kind of ridiculous that I actually don't... Okay, if this were a different movie, I think, this presentation for them would be fucking amazing.
I guess this is really it when people say that Jack Black could be considered the worst thing, but he could also be considered the best thing about this movie.
This is so cartoonish.
Yeah, you can tell he's at the very least having fun.
Again, keep in mind, guys, story-wise, these guys are the biggest threat to both Fantasia and the world. Again, they're more dangerous than the Nothing.
Yeah, that's the big problem with these movies. The first movie blew its load with the Nothing. As a result, anything that comes after that will be considered small potatoes in comparison.
To be fair, that was also the case in the book, too, where the Nothing's the villain for the first half of the book, and then Zaida's the villain for the second half. However, to give the Nasties credit, well, mostly Slip, but I digress, they actually considered the fact that, hey, if Bastion has the Arn, he could literally wish for it out of our hands. So, just put this into perspective. The bad guys are more productive than our actual hero.
This... I think it's about to happen. Get ready for more stereotypes.
Oh.
Great.
Goody.
They're just waiting behind the bush.
Oh, right. I think they're in Chinatown, actually.
Chinatown, yes. Well, the music is certainly not flattering, I would say.
There's some cute dragons here, but you're...
Shut the fuck up!
But wait, you're a luck dragon. Aren't those technically different from actual dragons?
Every time Falcor speaks, I die a little inside.
Not just that, it's both him and the fucking tree bark. At the very least, with the Rockbiter Jr., I get it because he's still an infant, so of course he's bound to say stupid shit. But arguably, he's the more sensible of the three.
Also, I love this. The only reason the bullies don't get on Bastion yet is just by pure coincidence, like it's a Looney Tunes cartoon.
Yeah. I also wanted to mention something from a previous scene when the dad and Bastion were talking. I love how Bastion turns to dad and is like, "Father, everything sucks," and he's like, "Okay." And then he goes away and says,
"Wait,
your son just told you that everything in his life sucks." And your reaction is, "Okay, bye."
Cool.
Okay, cool.
Also,
parenting.
Did Falcor just use the scream from Sinistar? That's something identical.
Hey, Bastion, why didn't you have Falcor just try and eat the bullies like you did in the first movie?
It was a strat. My life is a mess. My life is really terrible right now.
Oh, by the way, get it? The gnomes are in Nome, Alaska.
Oh my god.
This is so stupid.
Like I said, that's what make it. That's the key component why make it the worst of the three movies. Aside from just the fact that it's bad, and so on, it's the fact that there's a lack of respect in the tone.
I just have a question. What is it with studios that think that making a sequel or remake that completely spits in the face, tone, spirit, or anything of the original will somehow be a groundbreaking success?
Yeah, it's like that's. It's like the CGI Little Prince cartoon where they turned the fox into an incredibly annoying, over the top comedic psychic, even though that's not at all how he is in the book.
Yeah, I still need to get around to seeing that at some point. But like again, NeverEnding Story 1 and NeverEnding Story 2 felt like two halves of the same story. The relative tone was overall consistent. This throws a wrench into everything, and I just wonder, what was the thought process? Because keep in mind, NeverEnding Story 2 feels like it can be considered consistent enough with NeverEnding Story 1. That came out in 1990, over a decade after the original movie, which came out in 1979. Conversely, this movie came out in 1994, only 4 years after the second movie. Yet this feels like the sequel that was like years off, to the point where they could have messed up so much. Like, so
and for the record, same writer for the second movie.
What?
So, yeah, Karen Howard, same writer. And by the way, she also wrote for the TV miniseries of NeverEnding Story in 2001, 2002. I have no idea what happened.
How was the miniseries?
I haven't seen it yet.
Karen went nuts.
You talk about the NeverEnding Story miniseries, Trips?
Yeah.
Wait, hold on.
I never even heard of it till we did this commentary of the second movie.
Wait, hold on. And you're saying that he also wrote the miniseries in addition to the... She wrote the miniseries in addition to these movies?
Yeah.
Huh, does she, like, just have high ties? Okay.
No idea.
From the episodes I saw of the miniseries of NeverEnding Story, they seemed fine in the sense that... Okay, to be fair, everyone was doing that at some point.
What year was E.T. actually?
1982.
That was 12 years a bit too late, wasn't it?
But E.T. was still remained incredibly popular in the 90s too.
That's the power of a...
Why is there a statue of an orangutan in your garden, Bastion?
It's a garden gnome of sorts, I guess.
Let me just drink more.
Not to mention, too, kids' shows are still making references to E.T. to this day. So...
This beer is doing nothing.
Oh, it's so sad how the Rockbiter family is separated.
No, nothing can save you, too.
Oh my god, even when you're trying...
Nothing can save you, and there's
Even
no
when they're trying to have
way
a sad moment, they have to undercut it with humor.
It's like we're afraid that something might happen, then you just need humor.
Oh, speaking of E.T., it's time for that trend I really don't like. When the kids have to hide something, the kids have to hide the creatures from their parents and end up getting in trouble for it. Like, okay, again, Bastion, your dad knows about the NeverEnding Story. Yeah, it may freak out the mother and the wife, but honestly, just let them know about the dealio here. And the thing is, they take some details from NeverEnding Story 2, so it's not like they completely forgot about that. Like...
Not just that, even the first one, like, is... Fuck me.
Jesus Christ.
We're just barely halfway through, by the way, folks.
Jesus Christ.
I want to say that this movie could be so bad it's good, but I realize that probably only really applies to Jack Black's scenes now that I think about it.
Like I said, the parents are virtually useless, particularly the stepmother. Let me try to check who she's played by. Tracy Ellis.
Oh my god. The dad.
Okay, to be fair, go on.
The dad knows about the Orin movie. You can't play fast and loose with your continuity. Unless you explain that, oh, there was a big mind wipe that somehow did not affect Bastion. Just acknowledge that the dad knows. It would actually help the plot flow better.
That, and apparently the father and the stepmother have no peripheral vision, because there was no way they wouldn't have noticed the Rockbiter there.
Also, 2 years from this, the stepmother's actress was in the Crow City of Angels, so that wasn't particular improvement.
Oh.
But she was in a couple of cool TV series like ER, The X-Files, and Star Trek Voyager. So there is that.
So, I just want to put into retrospect how useless our protagonist is. The characters have to find their way to him. Never mind the fact that, some probably don't even know his address, but Bastion is literally stuck doing nothing throughout this. Keep in mind, we're dealing with the biggest stakes of the series so far, and a lot of it feels like it's just from a hack job of a slice of life anime with just, wacky hijinks that Bastion gets into at home and school.
That Dory looks very flimsy.
No, you can't because I hate you because you're a pretentious bitch. Go away.
Wow. Oh, nah. She's a golden child. She's a sibling who knocks.
Oh, congrats. She knocks.
Oh, trust me.
I take back everything bad I said about her. She fucking knocks.
Okay.
That is.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, Shuri's onto something that's a rarity among siblings. Even the good ones.
I guess I got the jackpot because my brother never fucking annoyed me.
Oh, well, aren't you the lucky one?
Yeah. Look at that, Mr. Rich at Life.
She fucking knocks. I just...
Well, as you can see, Pedro is a master at the gotcha game of life. He rolled the best ones.
Apparently I am, but... I mean, I'm not complaining. You shouldn't look a gift horse in the teeth, obviously, but, it's just like... Knocking, that's like the most bare minimum. I usually don't even call it bare minimum. That's just basic decency.
Whereas with NeverEnding Story 2, we could say things, got boring overall. With this movie, I can't even say it's boring because it's just bad. Again, look, even the moments that I enjoy, the bits with the Nasties, that is still bad. Just a point where it does reach a point of so bad that it's good. But the points that aren't so bad that it's good are just bad. Oh, and by the way, Bastion, like a dumbass, left the necklace.
Sister steals the orin.
What's that you were saying earlier, Shirai?
Actually, no. Siblings do this a lot.
No, I get that, but does the knocking justify this?
No.
Oh,
this
no.
is something else.
This time around.
See the thing is
she sucks again.
I'm like most of the siblings I see in these American pieces of media. My brother and I always slept in the same bedroom, separate beds and shit. So we were always together most of the time. So I guess we just got a better bond because of that. Maybe I'm just genuinely trying to figure this out.
For obvious reasons, me and my sister did not share the same bed.
Well, obviously, but I'm talking about siblings who can.
Also, what was a reggae song doing in my NeverEnding Story movie?
Oh my god, was that the equivalent of the rockbiter being a drunk arsehole?
Again, and now we interrupt your NeverEnding Story sequel to bring you this episode of Jim Henson's Dinosaur.
Okay, believe it or not, though, this is foreshadowing for what the Nasty does. Essentially, the Nasty corrupts people to the point where it brings out their negative elements to the point where they become borderline evil.
Those eyes are fucking staring into my soul.
Oh, shit, I forgot about these two. Yeah, again, that's the running gag. The poor rabbit gets martyriated.
NeverEnding. Here's the basic review that every critic should have given of this movie. NeverEnding Story 3. 0 out of 10, it gives you a seizure.
Dare I ask what I missed?
Seizure.
A seizure.
And terrible humor. Yeah,
this is my story. It will end the way I want it, or I'll end it here.
That's the sad part. When Tidus actually manages to have more fucking balls than fucking Bastion. I get that Tidus is supposed to be kind of like the jock in terms of archetypes, but he's still kind of an idiot overall. Yeah, very realistic behavior from everyone. Also, why is the teacher dressed in heavy hair like she's in the 50s?
For the record, lady, she didn't do anything. You're not that doesn't give you you don't have the right to take that from her. It's not like she was disturbing anything.
I mean, that's obviously her mom's credit card.
So yeah, that's
Also,
frowned upon.
How does she know that though?
She literally just said that.
She could check on the name and say
Pedro.
Mrs. whatever her last name is.
Also, Pedro, I lost a perfectly good deck of Pokemon trading card one time because of a teacher like that.
I being a bitch gives you power from the Auron?
No, remember. The Auron pretty much grants whoever is holding it wishes. Should we be a little worried that the teacher seems to be off her meds?
What the hell does that mean?
And again, this also showcased another thing, that Bastion is a moron, because again, his stepsister stole the Orient and immediately decided to put it to, quote-unquote, a good use,
Okay.
you know.
To be fair to Bastion, it's just because the Empress told him not to use it. Oh, mind you, he's an idiot for listening to her, but given how she is the de facto head of things...
But that's the thing, Jova. He doesn't use it for doing any wishes at all. We're running into the same problem of the second movie. Bastion has the opportunity to do cool shit, or at the very least with enough creativity to circumvent the problems of, the limitations, but he doesn't.
Oh, yes!
Let's go on.
Oh, but yes. Oh, yes. By all means, that's an issue. However, my point is the movie's way to nerf the Auron is to literally tell Bastion not to use it. At least in the second movie. We could buy that when he finally was making wishes, his mind was getting botched with by the memory machine. Here, no such thing. It's just, no, Bastion, don't use it. He's like, okay, I won't use it. He literally has to lie around and wait for the plot to find him on these things. Jesus Christ.
Okay, two things. One, how nice to see that the sister, the moment she's given the power, she immediately starts to abuse it responsibly. Second, Shiro, you know how you keep asking for parents to be held accountable in media?
Yeah.
I want this is my version of that. I want teachers to start being held accountable in media. When are we gonna get that? Because I have yet to see it.
I guess with her,
You need to be held accountable in real life first.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Jesus fucking.
And yeah, the tree managed to do a mailing myself challenge.
How did he know?
percentage.
How did he know what Bastion's address
He knows
was?
about pop cultural stuff, Jova. Of course he knows how to do this.
Okay, look. If this were
Sorry.
maybe the mid-2000s, I could buy that maybe he looked up Bastion using Facebook or something. But no, this is the 90s. Even if the internet was starting to be a thing, and he just assaulted that guy, even if internet was maybe starting to be a thing, it was not to the point where you could just look up someone's address that easily. Unless maybe he found a phone book, but even still.
Back then, access to the internet based around to just a very specific things that you could search for school purposes, and that's basically it.
Heck, if I recall correctly, this was still the period where people like the makers of the movie Hackers were thinking that the internet was this whole digital world you could go into.
That
was the whole thing,
Also, the joke that Barky did, that apparently Bastion's last name, Bucks, is there's only one in the phone book.
Question, Jova.
Yes.
Assuming that most people have those end of street mailboxes, can't anyone open those though? Because that's one way to get an address, or can not anyone open those?
You mean physically?
Yeah, you know, you see those mailboxes with the handles
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, yes.
in
My house
American
even,
Media all the time.
my house even has one of those. However, while that may be the case, Shuri, keep in mind the Fantasians were not outside Bastion's house in that regard. Like,
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out how they could have gotten the address in the first place.
Yeah. Regarding the whole teachers thing, Shiro, that's the thing. That's the interesting thing. In my country, when it comes to its teacher stuff, it's always been the opposite. Because to give you an idea, Shiro, back in the late 2000s, there was a problem with students physically hitting teachers.
oh good lord.
So teachers were actually the ones suffering over here. So.
Okay,
So-
also, just to let you know, lives in Shiroi.
Mm-hmm.
The actor plays Angiwook, Tony Robinson, apparently run as politicians in recent years. He
Oh,
apparently was part of the People's Vote, no, actually not People's Vote anymore, but the Labour Party. Do you guys anything about that?
He still is.
oh my god.
Well, no, apparently he left in 2019, citing dissatisfaction by the handling of
But he
Brexit
came back the
and
following year.
and the anti-Semitism, but whatever. Also, yes, we're justifying this being the final Halloween pick because the climax of the movie is set during Halloween night. So wait, you're telling me that Bastion's family transferred to this city and Bastion started school at the end of October?
Yes.
Usually that should be happening at the beginning of September.
Is that a thing over in Italy? Like, people
We
move...
don't have people. We need to have transfer students. We start from the beginning of the scholastic year, which is beginning of September.
Yeah, September is the start of the school year.
They don't go around like in 1/13 or in the middle.
But yeah, no, as Tio pointed out, both Bastion's sister and, like I pointed out, the Nasties are actually using their respective plot MacGuffins more effectively than Bastion did. Like, the Nasties actually realize, hey, it's his story, so let's read the book and find out where the Orin is. And lo and behold, they are able to find out that. And yes, while Bastion's sister is using the wishes for completely selfish reasons, she's actually wishing with it. Again, like, the best way that the plot can nerf Bastion or the Orin, whichever, is just to tell him, no, don't use it. And you know the funny thing? The funny thing is, later, we're gonna find out that the Child Empress's warning was bunk. Oh, not so much about the wishing them... Actually, maybe it is the wishing them back in one, but, let's just say he could have just used the Orin and this would have been solved. Also, yes.
Also, to answer Tio's question, before you carry on, I'm pretty much dissatisfied with every political party in this country at the moment.
Cool.
Like, it's like it's like this movie has been going on for a little over an hour. It feels like 2. Jesus.
You know, and of course, because it's Halloween, now we can have the Fantasians walk around because people will
I
just
guess
think
that
they're
was
in
really
costume.
the only major, logical thing that they could do.
What are these lyrics?
Oh wait, this
idea.
bit.
The fuck is her face?
Oh my gosh.
Excuse me?
Oh god.
Girls, am I right?
Guys.
Fucking excuse
Shiroi.
me?
Shiroi. I have bad news,
Yeah.
Shiroi. The childlike empress is becoming a teenager.
Oh,
Oh, God.
We've all been there.
oh,
The thing is, though, my idea was, like, splurging when it came to shopping was never really about clothes so much as it was video games.
Hey! Up top!
Yay.
also, the actress instead who plays Angiwook's wife, Urgel, she's played by Moya Brady, which was in Doctor Who. I think it was in the Eccleston series. And also the Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus, among other things.
Also, what is
And
this
manga
song?
too.
I saw that film in the cinema, actually. It was weird.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, so yeah, no, legit in this version, the librarian is clueless. He actually he actually does think that Bastion took the book. Okay, to be
Yeah,
fair,
let's talk also about him. The new actor of librarian is Freddie Jones, which I think I heard about him. Jesus, this music sucks.
It does.
Yeah, that's the tune that I can imagine for, NeverEnding Story movie. Fuck me.
This soundtrack has been all over the place.
Oh! All right. Oh.
It really feels to me like this script was written for a cartoon and they just, later on adapted it for a live action stuff.
Which is funny because NeverEnding Story did have a cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
Right, this is the Nasties' late motif.
Yeah, they got the orin.
This is their theme.
Someone is going on with the saxophone.
I can appreciate a good use of a saxophone every
Although
now and then.
I don't know if it's an authentic one or the synth.
Yeah, I guess it sounds fine enough for me, and trust me, at this point, whether or not something is
I'll
synth
leave
is...
your judgment to that.
I love how this is a NeverEnding Story movie, and you barely spend any time in Fantasia.
Well, again, it's to show that the stakes are the highest, because this can also destroy the real world. Also,
Yeah,
yes...
that's the thing. Here's the simple thing, Jovan. Just a very, very easy concept to grasp. I don't watch movies that talk about a fictional world just to be reminded instead about the real world, Jesus.
If I could interrupt for one moment, enjoy most of the climax of this movie. I'll see you in a bit.
Yeah, because there's the bad news. Because of the Nasties' interference and because they're part in the rape club, most of the climax will start flashing.
Great.
Also,
Well, it's been...
Did Paul W.
Wonderful.
Sanderson took over?
Hey,
Yeah, now
Yes,
the
yeah,
Nasties
Pedro?
actually have minions, so I go.
Devs, today is the day. Today's the day where we both die of a seizure.
Like, from what
It's
Tio
been-
messaged
it's been
me,
an honor-
it's like a
it's
whole
been an
10
honor,
minutes, so have
Yeah.
fun.
It's been an honor chatting with you all.
Exactly.
Shut up!
Shut the fuck up.
if I didn't know better...
It's like Pangilette. You need to shut the fuck.
I'll be honest, guys. I'll take this guy over the flashing.
Jesus.
I will take neither with.
If I didn't know better, Paige...
I'll take neither for 5,000, Alex.
Oh, I love that bit. Why are they all
The
being...
not an
librarian
option.
is being corrupted.
So yes, like I said, we now have the apocalypse on our hand because everyone is going insane. But...
Fucking hell.
Looks like he's
I'm
out of
going-
luck.
I'm having a nightmare.
NeverEnding Story was shot in front of a live audience.
So, well, in that case, I might as well ask you, what is more surreal and makes you think you're probably having a nightmare? This or that voice acting bit from Rise on a Rome?
Again, Pedro, as much as bad, and surreal it was, I get the idea they were trying to do something about it, but this is just... I need more alcohol.
Oh, don't worry. It's about to get worse.
Mm-hmm. I really should have brought more of the big guns.
Oh, here we go.
Whoa, where did that come from?
Because the parents are being, affected by the aggressiveness.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Don't give in to the darkness, Dad.
No, sorry, Bastion. This is not a Disney
And-
property. Sora cannot help you this
Wait. I'm sorry. The way the dad was pulling the mom off, were they implying that he's going to beat her because the Nasty is controlling them? Oh, and now even the childlike Empress, I guess, is getting afflicted since she's acting more bratty.
Oh, well, the flashing started, has it? Lovely.
This is good. This is
Also,
it.
more violence against the poor bunny. Yeah, again, Jonathan Landis, I think that's the name of the actor who played Bastion. That he really is miscast.
No.
Jason
no.
James Richter.
Yeah.
Sorry, my bad. John Landis was in the previous movie. Let me see what else he did. I'm actually curious. This was his third role.
Oh, wait, here we go.
Wait, what the?
I love love this. The literal Armageddon is happening around this girl, but the first thing she thinks is, oh no, the parents are gonna divorce again. It is the literal end of the world, and she makes it about herself. Jesus.
Bastion literally is just going full Tidus.
Also, guys, I don't know how to say this to you. The actor who played Bastion was in the Tekken 2009-2010 movie.
Brilliant.
Who was he in that?
An extra, an associate of Bonner.
So he went from being the main star to just being an extra.
He's still doing stuff to this day, actually. His last thing that he did was a pair of movies in 2021.
Oh no! Now Bastion is corrupted because he's calling out his sister. Like, I know this is supposed to be him being evil, but no, he's right. She is spoiled and a brat.
There's also the fact that, you know, what she mentioned is about potential, you know, spousal abuse, but that was the reason also why her mother, you know, remarried eventually with someone else. But this not only this is not very appropriate, but both her and Bastion are handling this in the poorest way possible.
Oh yeah, this feels earned, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
I guess maybe Bastion wasn't corrupted then. Also, to be fair, I recall she just said that her parents argued a lot and then eventually divorced. I don't think they hinted at any spousal abuse with her dad. But yeah, it turns out her dad's not dead. He just left her there, as her acoustic song implied.
What?
Well, look at the bright side, you know? At least he didn't die.
What the
You are much bigger than these guys. Why don't you just pulverize them? Okay, granted, I get it. The Rockbiter baby is a baby, but...
God, how much longer is this movie?
As much as they want to give you a seizure with that.
Empress, don't give in to the nasty! Why does that sound like something out of a porno?
Yeah, in fact, considering the production values, this does look more like a porn parody of NeverEnding Story rather than the actual thing.
God, so sad. Also, the gnome character virtually did nothing for the entire, you know, in the real world. At the very least, Barky and Rockbiter Jr. did some minor things. Anyway, time for the showdown.
Again, I gotta give Jack Black. I gotta give Jack Black credit. Maybe it's just his uber charisma, but it almost feels like I'm watching a good movie whenever he's on screen. And trust me, with this movie, that is nothing short of a miracle.
Ha ha ha, very funny.
Oh, he got the Oran.
These people are... Let me just...
Okay, wish! Wish it away! Use a wish! That was easy.
And for whatever reason, Jack Black is not stopping him.
No, actually, that's the thing. He's stopping him by antagonizing with words.
Okay, he's trying to pull a Marty McFly by essentially calling him chicken. My god, the characters are literally pointing it out at this point.
Yeah. It's like the writer is fighting with the producer.
He placed the necklace down. Good lord. Well, there goes the world.
Oh no. I'm gonna just say it because nobody else has seen this movie but me in this. The climax of the Ink Heart movie is a much better concept, you know, take on this concept. And even then, it wasn't even as cool as it is in the book. So, there is that.
Can you just get the,
Wait
Jack
for
Black to
it.
punch his own face? Why Steven Seagal?
Because he
was
was
popular at the time, and yet no Chuck Norris, I guess.
Which,
I guess we're not going to try to stop her from reading the book, because that would be smart.
to
And
be fair,
just because the sister decides to create the story on spot and to make Bastion OP, that's how we defeat the villain.
Wait.
Because Bastion is a moron with no agency, and it's the step-sister who has to save the day.
oh my god.
Duh. Every time Falcon shows up, he's like, duh.
Well, to be fair, like, yeah, I would run away if I saw that thing coming towards me, too.
Seriously, the gnomes did nothing.
Why even bother putting him in this movie, exactly?
Wow.
Huh. So...
Dibs.
Hmm?
Do you mind bringing me this me quote from Pan 2015?
No one cares about your darn mother.
Yes. Shut up!
That wasn't funny. But at this point, it helps to laugh instead of hurt. Oh
The
no!
wrong fighter has to leave.
Oh no! The darkness! It causes
Also,
So, guy.
Okay, thankfully this flashing is not affecting me much, but goddamn, they're really not giving a shit.
Oh no, the nasty, the most evilest force causes divorce.
Of
Huh.
course.
Just make a wish to fix it all, you goddamn idiot! Hey,
And you too, Scarecrow.
Hey, wait a
I'm
minute.
gonna miss you most of all.
but wait, hold on. I thought making wishes was bad, so said the childlike empress.
No, Jova.
No, Jova.
Really?
No.
Oh, flashing and this effect. What wondrousness.
Okay. Here, okay, guys. Here's my special effect for conveying the magic. I constantly press the zoom in and zoom out button repeatedly on my camera.
It's
There
not
you go.
even-
There's
it's-
your fucking special effect.
It's not even
Genius.
it's not even the what's it, the Wayne's World extreme close up gag. It's something different. And yeah, because the aura now is back, in Fantasia, everything is fine basically.
Except
Almost.
apparently not, because apparently some of the effects are left, which means that, yeah, the world might still be wrecked a bit.
And apparently, because they showcase the fact that they actually, express love for their, new step parents, now we can get away with that, I suppose.
So, just to do a recap, the book nearly caused the end of the world in this movie. Maybe we should put that inside a safe at this point.
Oh
I
crap!
can,
Wait. Fantasia was in this movie?
yeah,
Huh.
apparently, Pedro.
Huh.
Again, that's the thing. I can only imagine if Gomorrah was still alive and had to witness all of this shit. He was like, "Wow, it was
This
that
would be
easy." Apparently,
This would be
Again,
like if in Ni no Kuni 3, the world of Ni no Kuni was barely in it.
yeah,
again,
and the entire action showcased in the real. Imagine, I'm sorry because the city of Motorville is well expanded, at least in First Kuni. But imagine if the First Kuni was entirely set in Motorville, and Oliver arrived, in the other world for like 1/3 tops of the entire game. And yeah, that was the gag. The
They had
Jones
to
had
go
to
to the
pop the
bathroom?
emergency. Fuck this
what?
movie.
Because shitting is funny. I don't know.
But wait, hold
What
on,
happened to the
look!
Nasties?
Now the nasties are nice.
Are bookworms, apparently.
I
The
guess.
Niceties?
And yeah, there you go, Pedro. Absolute confirmation that Marsha was a girl. Even though I thought it was obvious from the get-go, but I digress. Also, Jack Black turned into Clark Kent.
Seriously, it's like
A
it
movie where Jack
stinks.
Black is
Wait.
Superman.
Hold on. So not only could he have made a wish, he could have literally have formed the story
Yeah,
to do that.
Bastion, aren't you forgetting something? Enough damage. You're banned from Fantasia forever.
Again, you nearly caused the end of the world.
Hopefully, this librarian will find better kids.
The
No,
story's
please,
not.
we don't.
The story's not
No, please.
over yet, young man. Oh dear
No,
lord.
fuck off. Fuck off.
And
We
how
don't
do we
know.
end? Oh, this is a 90s movie at the end of the day, so we need to end with, of course, a high jump, clap, and a freeze frame. But hey, guys.
What?
Of course. But hey, guys, at the very least, we have the consolation. But at the very least, we can hear the main theme of the first movie once again for the credits, like in the second movie. At least there's that certainty, right?
All right, let's have a
Right.
listen.
Nope.
Oh.
We get a reprise on a Born to Be Wild because fuck you and your dreams.
Yeah.
Did they lose the rights to the song or something?
Holy shit.
Oh yeah, I'm just gonna say it. Definitely one of the worst sequels I have ever seen and probably ever will see.
This is someone really hated the NeverEnding Story franchise and was committed to destroying it.
And yet, again, this is apparently the same writer from NeverEnding Story 2 and the miniseries, which I can assure you are leagues better than this. Like, maybe the miniseries goes downhill, but
I'm
from the
genuinely
few
convinced
bits...
she was actually hampered by the executives.
Oh, wait, hold on. Was the miniseries released after this?
Yes, early 2000s.
Then yeah, I could maybe see that the execs went, okay, after that
I don't even wanna listen
abomination
to
you
this.
made with the third movie,
Yeah,
don't
there's no
worry, you don't have to
post-credit
listen
scene,
much.
so-
I'm not listening to this shit. Closed.
So this version of Bastion will thankfully not be invited to the Multiversus initiative.
But yeah, I
So
do
it's-
have to wonder though if you're onto something that maybe the execs said, okay, you screwed up with this third movie, so we're gonna micromanage your ass for the
I'll see if I can find
miniseries.
something about developing in the meantime, but Dweebs, please.
It's rubbish.
You don't say.
You don't say.
Although, again, I mean, yeah, there were a lot of really dumb parts in it, but I'll be honest, it just comes across as just really generic bad movie to me. Like, it's got a lot of the classic 90s bad movie traits. Poor effects, both CG and practical. Really hokey acting, aside from people named, unless your name's Jack Black. A story that makes no sense. Oh yeah, and the movie literally tried to kill the audience with all the flashing and all the weird crash zooms. I'm surprised I managed to get out of it without having at least having my eyes twitch. So, but hey, in terms of movies making people ill after watching it, it's better. I at least didn't suffer as much ill effects as I watched the 2016 Ben-Hur.
I will say also for comparison with the run that we made, it's technically better in terms of seizure-inducing than the Resident Evil, the final chapter, but that's not saying much.
I don't know, like, because this movie has extensive...
I'm just talking about in editing, editing-wise. The flashing is a thing, but at least the quick editing is only reserved for, quick spurts.
It's like, we have extensive amounts of that, not to mention the going in and out of Fantasia effects with the pretty much beating you in the head with the screen with how much it zooms in and out. It's like boom, 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 boom. Like, and then they combine the flashing with that transition effect. Holy cow. And it's a mess. And, oh god, you just made me realize something, that technically it was the tree guy who solved stuff with that wish in the end. Good lord.
Yes,
Yeah,
indeed,
yeah, the less said about the pop culture references, or at least the use of them, the better. And Jeff Lieberman's script based off Karen Howard's story, not the best, although I'm looking at the guy's filmography. I've not really seen any of these, although the titles of them are don't the titles of them don't really convince. I mean, his last film as director was a film in 2004 called Satan's Little Helper, and his last script was Till Death Do Us Part, a few episodes for a TV series in 2006.
Apparently worked on a couple of slasher movies between the 70s and the 80s, but that's it. I don't recognize them either.
Yeah, that's about it. So yeah, that's NeverEnding Story 3. Really bad, but yeah, it's just a typical bad movie.
Alright, well, we also wait for Shira to come back. I will mention the intended production. In February 1993, at the American film market, Peter MacDonald was hired by Cinebox Entertainment to direct Fantasy Adventure, the main story free from a script by the aforementioned guy, Jeff Lieberman, with production scheduled for summer of that year. The film was announced with a budget at $25 million, with producer Dieter Geisler, who produced the first two entries, and Tim Hampton, with production to take place for 6 months in Vancouver and Germany. Principal photography began in August of that year. The film production was motivated by the success of the previous two entries, which had collectively grossed $150 million worldwide, with the second entry also a bestseller on home video. As both previous entries had struggled theatrically in the United States, the producer made a conscious effort to tailor the third entry for the American market.
Oh,
Fucking
God.
brilliant.
So once again, people thinking that they know what the American market wants, only
Wants
to
when
not
they
get what the
don't.
American market
Isn't
wants.
that the design idea behind Shadow the Hedgehog? Also?
Yes.
And a lot of other things, Shiroi. Anyway, just to finish quickly, with Jason James Richter cast as Bastion on the basis of recognition from Free Willy. Author of the original book, Michael End, had absolutely no involvement in the film, with producer Tim Hampton commenting on, quote-unquote, "We own all the rights to the title now, and as had certain rights to the previous two movies, he had a lot of control over Wolfgang Petersen's first movie. On George Miller's next chapter, it was more along the lines of we had to show him what we were doing all the time, and then he gave us his opinion. But here we're clear and free to do what we want."
Wow.
I would like to remind you that Michael Ende died 1 year after this movie was made.
So did this movie kill him?
I certainly hope not.
Like, I mean, it makes sense, though. Like, at least with the first two movies, you know, those felt like something that would have at least needed his involvement to have that quality control, but
just to mention quickly, so I can pass the ball to Shiroi. The movie, since we didn't mention at the beginning, the movie was released technically in 1984 in Germany. That's why it's its original release date. In America, it arrived at a limited theatrical release in February 2, 1996, so a while later. And the only grossing that we know is $5 million from the German market. So we don't know what the recouping total was. But
What's the budget for this movie?
25 million, which is honestly wasted. But anyway, please, Shiroi, for what you had to see, what do you think?
Okay. I'm not as annoyed as I'm sure some of you are, because I didn't grow up with the book. I can understand why book fans would be angry, and this is not a lead into me saying I like this movie. I do not. But I just don't have a chip on my shoulder for that. So I didn't exactly hate it, as I'm sure a lot of other people did. Some of it was genuinely ridiculous, but the fact that this wasn't an original movie, you know, not NeverEnding Story related, like, it probably would have been at least a silly, stupid time if it didn't have the association. But the fact that it does is just wrong. You know, and also, the soundtrack is doing so much heavy lifting. Like, I don't know.
You know, it's funny you mentioned book fans, Shuri, because actually the thing about this movie doesn't adapt a thing from the books. The first
I know, but it has the namesake.
Well, that's the thing, though. Like, well,
that's what I was saying, because I even asked for the clarification at the beginning of the commentary if it was related to the book at all. But the fact that it's namesake is obviously going to upset a lot of people.
I mean, you know, that sharing the title is one thing. It's just that, yeah, while people did get mad at it, I wouldn't say it's specified to book fans, because it's not like this was adapting something from the books and screwing it up. No, it was its own original mess, which...
It was still
Yes.
ruining the source material to an extent, but not in a direct way.
Yeah, because it does feature characters from it. It also, proudly wears the title of it. So, And if I have to say one thing I do like from the movie, like the bullies are at least cartoonishly stupid.
Yes.
If they were in a different movie, I think they would have landed a lot better. But they were actually fun to put them in a different movie, maybe. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's it. This was not good, but I'm not mad about it.
This was not
there we go.
good. Bold statements only on this channel.
Speaking of which, Jova, you're next.
Oh boy. Okay, look. I kinda grew up with the first NeverEnding Story movie. Like, as a kid, I'll admit it wasn't until, like, maybe the mid to late 2000s that I even found out there was a second NeverEnding Story. And I'll be honest, I had no idea there was a third one until the Nostalgia Critic's review of NeverEnding Story 2, which revealed that there was actually a third NeverEnding Story. And man, when I saw his review of NeverEnding Story 3, I couldn't believe my eyes. Seeing this movie in whole now, I still cannot believe my eyes. Let me just start this off. One of my biggest pet peeves with an inferior sequel is when it is so inferior that it feels like it's a different world. Like, again, I can get a sequel maybe not being as good as the original, but maybe still being able to hold its own, which NeverEnding Story 2 managed, I'd argue, but NeverEnding Story 3 doesn't even feel like it tries. Again, these animatronics brought to you by the Jim Henson's Creature Shop. And no, like, they do not generally phone in their work. Which, okay, if I were to give it some compliment, yes, it does feel like the costumes are very lifelike, full of life, and very animated in their motion. Now, if only they actually looked right. Because aside from the gnomes, no one looks or acts right. Even the childlike Empress is considering going shopping with the Orin at some point. Oh, like, again, maybe it's to show her growing into a teenager because, I'm sorry, at this point, she flat out looks like a teenager. At least with NeverEnding Story 2, I could say she looked like a girl still, even if she looked different, but no, here, teenager at this point, like... But hey, it's not like this movie's gonna bother explaining why they look different because this movie sucks at continuity. The dad appears to have forgotten the events of the second movie, elements from the first movie are simply just glossed at, and even if he's not in this film, they don't even explain why Atreyu isn't here, when again, isn't Atreyu supposed to be like the resident warrior of the town or whatnot? No?
Kinda. Yeah, his absence is very noted in this.
Like, holy cow. And Falcor. Oh, Jesus Lord. Falcor. The design. The character. The dialogue. The voice.
Wait, Falcor was in this movie? I didn't see
Apparently,
Falcor.
Pedro, you have a very derpy voice.
I didn't see Falcor.
That was his hillbilly cousin.
Why was he so long in this movie?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Seriously.
His design was always, for Snake, like similar to a Chinese dragon.
But they made him longer.
It's more like the fact that they made his nose even more canine, his nozzle more canine than in the previous movies.
I say, Falcor, my boy, look at how they massacred my boy.
Alright.
And...
Go ahead.
I guess the tree bark is completely original. He spouts stuff. But, guys, let's just think about it. The tree guy technically is the one who actually solves things in the end with that last wish he makes when they get back to Fantasia. Oh my god. Bastion really was useless. And we'll get to him later, but the Rockbiter and his family turned into a dinosaur's knockoff. A sitcom where they watch TV in a book-based land, where the rock biter sings Born to be Wild, which admittedly is a good cover. He has a good singing voice. But my God, look at what they did to the character. Just look at it! Look at it!
I don't wanna.
Holy...
I want all of you to look at it!
Yeah, like I said, Falcor is pretty much Patrick Star in this, before Patrick Star arguably even existed. Oh, and yeah, I already went over the childlike Empress, but hey, how about our main protagonist, Bastion? He is at his absolute worst in this movie. I mean it, like, he is his most useless in this movie. Sure, he acts like he has more of a backbone in this movie than he did in the previous two movies, but he has nothing to back it up. I remember that bit where he says, "This is my story, and you'll be sorry," or something along that, and just pushes past the Nasties like a dork or something. And again, he literally has the Orin. No negative effects whatsoever. But because the childlike Empress said, "No, Bastion," he doesn't use it for the course of the movie, which forces us to have to endure this scene after scene.
It's like in Terminator Dark Fate, where Kyle Reese asks a question, and their answer is, "That's confidential."
Good.
And then it's a writer literally weaseling out of actually, writing.
Like, don't get me wrong, we have seen tons of writers having BS excuses, but to have a writer literally just have a character say, "No, don't do that just because I say so," and have, like, not even the hint of an explanation, that's a special pay grade of lazy. And the thing is, they originally did have a reason in the original draft, but honestly, that reason wouldn't have even worked. So it was either that or nothing, and they went with nothing, which I could argue is actually worse. But Jesus Christ! Right. Back to the new characters. The sister. She has that usual thing of, oh, the jerk sibling her we're supposed to eventually find endearing. Like, I guess I'll give her credit that unlike DW, she actually did learn her lesson and get better. But that was near the tail end.
She's also a kill stealer, She's the one that basically saves the day by empowering Bastion. If it wasn't just for him, the world would have been doomed.
Which makes me wonder, was the story implying that Bastion wished on the Orin for the powers, or... Because, okay, like I mentioned, it's never explained clear how exactly the characters are affecting the book. Like, we never see them write in stuff, it's just, they open the book, they hold the book, they say stuff, but... Pardon me if I'm misremembering, Tio, but last I checked, the NeverEnding Story isn't just something that you write in, or... Well, okay, we've never seen a character try that, but we never...
The first movie strongly implied that the moment Bastion entered in physical contact with the book, the story modeled itself, and it just happened to include him because he was the reader, and as a result, he literally stumbled into his own presence,
True.
But this seems to imply that the pages are completely always blank, and the characters can just holding the book, spout whatever they can, and the words will magically form on that.
Which, holy cow, like I said, messes with the continuity from the first two movies. Like, again, this is the kind of sequel or remake that makes me wonder, did they hate the NeverEnding Story? Back to the girl. She is a pretentious, hypocritical, moronic, conniving brat of a sister. Like, Bastion tries to be nice, she berates him for it. She says, "I don't believe in this new age garbage," only to do trademark new age garbage with the acoustic guitar. And look, no offense to anyone who likes to play on acoustic guitar, playing on acoustic guitar does not automatically make you pretentious. However, when you're pretty much like that hipster bloke who says, "Oh, I was doing this before," or that candid person who just has to say, "Oh, well, your stuff is lame," and then you get on acoustic guitar with the pretentious lyrics, expect a blasting, just saying.
Not just that, Jovan. It's a whopper of 2-in-1 because she's combining that with her own daddy issues. Remember, the song is dedicated to her father.
And the thing is, like, so you may think, oh, the dad died like Bastion's mom did. Nope! It's literally as the lyrics say that he just left her. And
again, something as serious and depressing as it is, as dysfunctional families and potential, spousal abuse that led to the separation, is treated almost borderline as a joke, and as something as as shallow as the character development for the stepsister, which is used in a throwaway line as an explanation in the worst possible moment.
Yeah, speaking of that throwaway line, if there was spousal abuse hinted at, I must have missed it because I literally just recall saying, my mom and dad yelled at each other until they divorced, which, oh yeah, like I mentioned, the literal end of days is happening, but the first thing the girl is worried about is that the parents might divorce again, just like her dad divorced from her mommy. Again, it takes a special kind of pretentious brat to make the end of the world all about herself, but here we are. And, I love this. The end of the world. Armageddon is happening, but the big worry is, oh no, are our parents divorcing? Which is yeah. The thing is, this movie has the highest stakes of any of these movies. And yet it never treats it like that because of the tone and the mixed up messages that this movie is trying to tell. Again, imagine if the Nothing, Gnork, and Zaida from the previous two movies are seeing this from the afterlife or wherever they went after they died, and realizing that they have been one-upped by Jacob freaking Black. Jack Black ended up being a greater threat than the death of imagination or the embodiment of declining imagination.
I like to remind that the thing that the first movie doesn't show, but the book does, is that Gmork had the ability to travel between worlds and using sweet talk, convince people that it was pointless to, having creativity and dreams, and as such, power the void, the nothing as a result. So in a way, he didn't even need the book nor the Orin to do what he needed, So technically it was powerful, but because probably the movie didn't show, it makes him, his efforts vain in confront to Jack Black holding the book, jumping on chairs, and having a hideout inside of a parking lot.
The Nasties legit did the Nothing's job better than the Nothing could have ever hoped to. Just think about that. Go back to the first movie and think about that, because this is where we officially are.
That's, I think, to answer what Shira was mentioning about, the fact that, this doesn't have the book. This manages to retroactively influence the previous movies. I think that's also
yes,
the big factor in it.
That's the main reason that this is definitely hated on. If it were based on a book, well, okay, that book would have to have somehow been amazing in comparison, but no, this one retroactively does crap on that stuff. But since I mentioned the Nasties, yeah, they are the best things in this movie. Specifically Jack Black's character. Gotta give it props to Jack Black. He apparently took this movie seriously. But you know what? The movie is all the better for it. He is legit funny. I love his Captain Ahab obsession with getting back at this boy who dared to get him expelled. Because, he yelled that he was kidnapped and put in there. And, I'll admit, like Sherry mentioned, the Nasties can actually legit be entertaining. Heck, I actually do dig some of their interactions with each other, and how over the top they are. The issue is that the movie just does not work tailor-made for them. And yeah, that's the thing. It feels like, in a sense, they're just an element of this movie, which feels like it's the rebellious third sibling. It's like when you have a trio of siblings. You got the two who are all nice, grand, and successful, And then you got the third youngest sibling who says, "Nuh-uh, I'm gonna do my own thing," and then goes off to rebel against the direction of the other two siblings, because this movie feels like it hates anything NeverEnding Story that came before it. The tone is more funny now, wackier, as are the characters and the writing. Jesus Christ. It literally turns into an E.T. parody at some point. The music, well, a lot of the music is honestly licensed stuff. I'm not saying, like, that's always a bad sign, but when you go from fully composed orchestras to vainly licensed songs, that can be a bit of an issue. And like, hey, the Born to Be Wild cover is nice, but then they have the goal to have that replace the iconic NeverEnding Story lyrical tune. No, just no. What were they thinking? What were they cooking with this? Again, how did they think this was going to be a success? Like, keep in mind, this wasn't even just a direct-to-video thing. This came to theaters. Like, did they think that... Did they
I saw it in theaters.
Yes.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
And it's like, again, did they think this was going to be a massive success? Did they think people were going to love this new direction? If they did, I hope they got the help that they needed. I really do.
Sometimes we shouldn't let people cook.
Yeah. This may have been one of those cases. Again, at least with NeverEnding Story 2, I am fine with that movie existing. I could even go back and watch it. This movie, on the other hand, if I'm gonna go back to watch it, I'm watching it for Jack Black scenes, and I might just skip through the rest. 'Cause holy hell, this movie was god-awful. A disgrace to the franchise. A pox on it.
Before we get to Pedro, Shiri wanted to add something.
Yeah, just real quick. Well, a couple of things, and they're both pretty short. This movie is not nuanced enough for this type of thing, but when you were talking about the sister earlier, the whole not like other girls thing is a real phase a lot of women go through because misogyny is bullshit. But again, this movie is not nuanced enough for that to have been their intention. So yeah, no, it's still shit. And the thing I initially wanted to add was the fact that this movie could potentially put someone in hospital makes it bad enough. Like, that alone makes it bad.
Oh, so this movie is the Bow and Wonder world of its time.
I hope that the Amazon Prime copy that Libs used had a disclaimer at the beginning or some shit like that.
It didn't even have subtitles, so I doubt it.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, he's and that's like, you know, full release and stuff. So yeah, that didn't have subtitles according to him. But yeah, go ahead, Pedro.
Yeah, you're up.
Go on.
I think I've made it very clear how I feel about this movie. It's shit. Everything about it is shit. I felt more like I was watching Sesame Street mixed with Jim Henson's Dinosaur.
Oh yeah, Jack Black was on Sesame Street.
Yes, he was. He was also in the 2011 Muppets movie. It sucks. It sucks donkey shit. Everything about it sucks, and I don't ever want to talk about this ever again unless I have to. So, a pox on thee, like Jova said.
Tio.
Alright, I'll conclude. Guys, this is just beyond awful. Like, we already mentioned how, it really is devastating towards everything the first movie stood for. Like I mentioned, I wasn't particularly fond of the second, even if I recognized that it was trying to do something. This one also has one idea or two that might be, attuned with what we want going for, but it's not enough, and it's squandered behind an unnecessary pandering towards what people believed, people in Hollywood believed the average American kid wanted these days.
I love it.
Was so detrimental throughout, the entirety of the 90s and the early 2000s. Like, holy shit. I thought only anime was affected by these, but no, even live-action movies were.
The astonishing thing is that a lot of times it's usually a foreign filmmaker that thinks, oh, this is what Americans want, and that will somehow make it more popular, only for that to
Well, Jova, I've seen enough examples also on the opposite side of the spectrum. Not this one, but in case of Hollywood sees a foreign movie that is successful and wants to desperately make their own version of it because they have an inferiority complex or something. I don't know. But that's not even the case of this movie anyway. My
True,
point is
yeah.
that this movie sucks so much. It's so buried in all those stupid pop culture references. The only real enjoyable thing is Jack Black as the main bad guy. And even then, it's one of those that has a good presence, but not even enough physicality. He threatens Bastion with a bunch of words and imposing, but when it comes to throwing a punch, he barely does it. Maybe as one of his goons do his bidding, But when it comes to the climax, because Bastion's stepsister empowers him, Jack Black doesn't have even a chance and gets he's not beaten out of it. Um, so there's not even the satisfaction of seeing it. Like the thing that frustrates me too. Similar to the second movie, they had the plot element of the Oran, in this case, having to give the user the wishes they so desire, and you don't have Jack Black, abusing it to become this uber-powered demonic entity which should embody more the idea of what the Nasty would be as an actual, evil threatening the world of Fantasia.
Oh my
No,
god.
just like with the ideas of the previous movie, this movie is so creatively bankrupt to a point where the definition is almost literal in this case, and it's so frustrating.
You just made me
because,
realize something, actually. When
well,
you think about it, in all NeverEnding Story movies, the bad guy kind of gets defeated by a rather anticlimactic fashion. Even in the first movie. Give the childlike empress a name, boom. Give the evil empress a heart, boom. In this one, have your terrible sister read a bedtime story that gives you powers.
by pop culture references. Also, I would argue that in the first movie it worked the best out of the three because the Nothing was literally the embodiment of sucking of the absence of creativity. So by filling in that void, it literally automatically defeats him. It's like putting water in a cup or something. Um, it was, you can argue Gmork had a more anticlimactic ending, but that was because also they changed how he's treated in the book compared to how he's in the movie. That's a story that's too long to actually mention.
Yeah, it was like I mentioned.
Just
Sadly, Atreyu didn't get to show off too much of his warrior skills in the first
similar to
movie.
Similar to Will Smith when it comes to Independence Day Resurgence, I think he got the better short of the stick, short end of the stick,
By not coming.
being in this movie, by being Sir not appearing in this title. Because holy shit, I can only imagine what kind of jokes they did. I can only imagine one of the nasties of making throwaway racist jokes at him being native, for example. But no, this is just awful. The stepmother, is just not present at all. The fact that both her and Bastion's father, have an altercation at the end and being to get along, supposedly, is not that much brought up. And when he does, you just want to make it end because you don't give a shit or because something else is going on.
But
the stepsister is an annoying brat who clearly doesn't want to, enhance. Entangle a kind of sibling step sibling relationship with Bastion, instead decides to be a pretentious hipster,
but
as
but
far
but
as the 90s goes.
but Tio, her dad left and
Oh,
divorced.
I understand that, but it's cheap as an excuse.
It really
it's present,
is.
but it's the worst kind, where something from the real world is used as a plot device in the cheapest way possible. Just to being a crutch for bad writing, which is something that's still happening to this very day. Um, and again, she's also partly responsible for why the climax is happening, because she steals the Oran and decides to abuse it for her own sake, although demonstrating that she has a better common sense than her stepbrother, admittedly, you know. Um, and she saves the day because she's earned that question mark.
And also, she inspires the
Am I missing
childlike.
something?
Well, she inspired the childlike empress to go shopping. So
Because woman likes shopping, am I right, fellas? Holy shit. Um, Again, this is a 90s movie through and through. like in almost all of these aspects. It's just garbage. If it wasn't for Jack Black, it would be completely to discard. And even then, you should just watch it once for the novelty's sake and then move away. And just like Pedro, I don't want to touch this movie ever again. It was just for the case of having closure. Yes, I know that there's the animated series and the TV miniseries, still left hanging. But at the very least, we close teacherly the book with this. Actually, let me just do this. There you go. Done. Because we had left it open, and I think it's more hilarious because I had picked the first NeverEnding Story a few years ago, and that series has a fuck ton of movies left. So I guess I'm not gonna finish it at all at this point. Continue, but at the very least, I managed to do something to celebrate this 10th anniversary. And speaking of which, that concludes our biggest Halloween run yet. I hope you enjoyed as much as we did. Unfortunately, there was a lot of garbage in this this time around, but at the very least, we managed to close around a few spots. At the very least,
and we ended with a movie that ends on Halloween.
Ooh! Hopefully, Christmas will be a bit less crowded, but we'll have to see what happens. See you next year with hopefully, better movies and without being too clogging too much. See ya.
See you for now.
See ya.
And that is a wrap. Okay,
Also,
so
I say that, but I might actually genuinely pick the Silent Hill movies next year.
I am curious about those, so go right ahead.
They suck.